Don't you hate it when you go on a date with this amazing, beautiful woman, you think you crushed it, you're gonna pull her home, you're gonna make her your future wife, your future girlfriend, and then the next day, silence. She falls off the face of the earth and you never hear from her again. Man, how often has this happened to you? To me, it has happened way too often, way too many times. And initially I got pissed. I blamed women. But then I came across a quote which says, if it smells bad wherever you go, check your shoe. And that blew me away, bro, because that revealed to me if so many women ghost me, something that I am doing must be wrong. Not me personally, but something about my techniques must be going wrong, because if I would be unattractive, they wouldn't meet me in the first place. So I must be making mistakes on the date. It took me a couple of dates, actually took me a couple of months to figure out what I was doing wrong, until I finally found out what exactly was going wrong. I had a spreadsheet, looked at the dates I was going on and asked myself, okay, what was I doing wrong here? What did the dates that went badly had in common? And identified certain patterns. And here are 7 mistakes that I made on dates that got me ghosted and ruined any chances of getting laid or meeting a high quality woman or turning her into my future girlfriend or wife. So learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to make the same mistakes yourself. Mistake number 1, failing it to make it man to woman. I used to work in finance for a couple of years, and I also was a managing director at a tech startup. So I was very analytical and also smart. However, while it was helpful for my career, it didn't really help me in dating because I was too analytical. I was too logical. The conversations were too platonic and predictable. I entered the date with a frame of I have to ask a lot of questions. So I bombarded her with questions, but the wrong questions. Questions like, what do you do for work? What is your favorite hobby? Where did you travel to? Those questions might create a bit of a connection, but man, they do not create sexual attraction, man. It's too platonic, it's too boring, it's too predictable. Everyone asks those questions. And especially, man, she's agreed to meet you, so she is ready to meet you in a romantic context. So stop making a romantic date a business meeting. Especially if you show up on a date with her and she knows that this is a romantic context and you do not create sexual tension and you do not make it man to woman, man, she perceives you as a weak little pussy. Simple as that. And one thing women aren't attracted to are weak men. Now, mistake number 2 was a result of trying to fix lack of man to woman frame, which was I went from one extreme to the next extreme, which was escalating too much, man. So I tried to be super touchy from the beginning. When I met her, I immediately hugged her, which is actually not bad. You can hug her when you meet her first. But I started teasing right away. I started flirting within the first 10 minutes. And this girl was just still getting used to me. So I over-escalated and I overwhelmed her with my sexual approach. So she immediately saw me just as a fuckboy, someone who's trying too hard. So she almost saw me as a clown. While I was doing all this, I forgot one important thing, man. The thing about women is women love adventure, but they hate one thing, which is risk. And they only love adventure if the risk is non-existent or it is minimized. I forgot to make her feel comfortable and safe around me before I escalated. So I went from 0 to 100, which messed up my chances. She felt almost intimidated by me, and even the fuckboys she's been with potentially, they would at least make her feel safe before they escalate too much. So stop escalating too much too early on. Use small talk and then start asking deeper questions to make her feel safe. So deeper questions can be like, hey, what makes your heart sing? Or what's a fun fact about you? That will allow you to slowly escalate with topics to make her feel safer. So once you started asking those deeper questions, then you can move on to escalation with topics and then escalate with physical touch. And ideal topics to escalate are travel, tattoos, if you like girls with tattoos, and anything around the theme of adventure and crazy stories, and maybe even secrets. The third mistake I see most men make is a result of trying to build comfort and trust, and they then go also to the extreme of building too much trust and too much comfort. So how does this look like? On a date, most men forget to qualify her and they start subconsciously qualifying themselves on it. You might actually start subconsciously trying to desperately position yourself as the guy, the best option that she can have, but because you're trying so hard to qualify yourself, you stop qualifying her, and she perceives you as a tryhard, and a tryhard comes across as someone who doesn't have many options. Or maybe you have options, maybe you have an abundance of women, but none of the women will be of equal status like her, otherwise you wouldn't be trying so hard. That's at least how she perceives you in this moment. So you have to stop qualifying yourself and position yourself as the guy, as the boyfriend, the perfect man, and start qualifying her. This can be fixed super easily. There are a few simple techniques techniques that you can use. You can simply say throughout the conversation, oh, I think you and we won't get along. Or you sound like a handful. I'm not sure I want that in my life. But you say it with a smirk, and because you say it with a smirk, she's understanding that as a flirt. And then she's like, oh, nah, I'm not. That's when you notice that she started to qualify herself to you. Mistake number 4 is a basic but big fuck up. Dinner dates. I hate them. Dinner dates used to be a thing back in the days, but they are not anymore. Welcome to the modern day dating. It's an overinvestment from your side. It overwhelms her, and you potentially expose yourself to become a freebie for food. It's too difficult to create physical touch on the date. You have to focus on your food. There are too many cons compared to the pros. You're already presenting yourself as boyfriend, and she hasn't even earned it yet. Again, you're trying to qualify yourself to her instead of making her qualify herself to you. Mistake number 5 is not sitting next to her. This is a cheat code. Bro, it sounds like such a simple thing to do, but man, sitting next to her removes the feeling of you guys opposing each other. When you sit in the business meeting, where do you guys sit when you negotiate something? You sit opposite each other. So purely from a body language perspective, you create a barrier between the two of you, and in order to remove that barrier, you then have to make it awkward, maybe get up later on, or like if you want to escalate physically, you have to reach for her arm. It just makes it more difficult for you to move date to the next stage. I encourage you, sit next to her. Even if you have to move the chair a bit, sit next to her, man. The next mistake I see too many guys make, and I was guilty of that as well, was not going for the kiss at the end of the date and not trying to get her home to you. If she doesn't kiss you on the date, that means she's not attracted to you. Like, that's a given. There might be 1 out of 100 women will not kiss you for moral reasons, but bro, the rest, if she doesn't kiss you on the date, she's not attracted. So the second thing that you need to do also is to at least offer or invite her to yours. Why is this so important? Why is going for the kiss and why is inviting her to your place so important? Because it shows that you have the confidence and the intent to make it sexual with her. If you do not make those moves, she will think that you're either too shy or you're not interested in her. That's how women operate. That's how they think. They can talk themselves out of being attracted to you simply because you didn't make the move, and that's when they will say, you know, I'm not interested. I'm not saying that every girl I kissed turned to something more. However, I can tell you that every girl I didn't kiss never led to anything more. Every girl I didn't invite to mine never turned to something else. So I encourage you to show the intent, make it known that you want more from her. Not needing more from her, want more from her. And the last mistake, bro, is getting drunk on the date. Man, I've had countless dates where I was completely shit-faced. And I didn't remember much of the night. I just woke up next to this girl. I was like, how the fuck did this happen? And who is this girl? And what did I actually like about her aside from her physical appearances? Don't use alcohol as a crutch to become confident and authentic. Because if you use alcohol to become authentic, that means you don't trust yourself with your social skills. You don't trust yourself with your charisma. And also it just clouds your judgment. Especially when you're dating with intent, it clouds your judgment about compatibility. And if you drink for the sake of drinking, it also shows you lack discipline. If you actually don't want to drink, but you drink because you don't want to make her feel awkward, it shows that you don't have a spine. Best dates I've been on were the ones where I didn't drink because I became so confident in myself that I didn't need a drink anymore. And women appreciated it. Of course, first they were like, oh wow, that's different. But yeah, because that's different, it makes you stand out. Of course, if you meet up with a party girl and you don't drink, she will not like it. But do you want to marry a party girl? No, like if I would go out with a party girl, I would drink as well because I know I just want to fuck her. But if I date with intent, I'm not going to use alcohol. I'm going to be sober on the date because I want to find a compatible partner, which I have, by the way. And I was sober on that first date with Sandra. Also stayed sober on the second date with Sandra. Also stayed sober on the third date with Sandra.